Inter Milan versus Atletico Madrid is brought to you by Enjoy Responsibly and PlayStation, UEFA Super Cup sponsors. The Nerazzurri claimed an unprecedented treble for an Italian club last season, and having won last week's Supercoppa, they'll be gunning for trophy number 5 in 2010. In their way, Los Rojiblancos, the inaugural Europa League winners, have high hopes of securing only the 3rd European title. It's Inter Milan versus Atletico Madrid from Monaco in the UEFA Super Cup, live right here on SBS. And good morning, welcome to the World Game. The UEFA Super Cup is upon us, and that can only mean one thing: the European football season is in full swing. Shortly, European champion Inter Milan takes to the field to face a resurgent Europa League winner, Atletico Madrid. With me to look ahead to this morning's match, Socceroos Craig Foster and David Zdrilic. Lovely to see you this morning, gentlemen. Foz, can I say that Rafa Benitez has made the right move, because he hasn't won very much with Liverpool in the last few years, and now within 1 week he can win 2 trophies.
That's right.
He's already won 1 with the Italian Super Cup last weekend.
Exactly. It's going to be a fascinating season to see how he goes. It's not, on one hand, it's not easy to replace Jose Mourinho, particularly after they won an unprecedented treble. But on the other, he takes over a club that is at the very peak of their powers in Serie A and has a realistic, more than a realistic chance of winning. They're actually expected to win Serie A again this year, despite the fact that Juventus have strengthened. Milan still looking much the same, although they may take Ibrahimovic in the next couple of days. So he comes in with real potential to win Serie A and to go a long way in the Champions League. So given what he did in 6 years at Liverpool with a fantastic start, but then over the last 4 years just gradually sliding further and further down, it's not a bad role for him to fill.
Zdrilla, what do you say about the coach change at Inter?
Well, I definitely think that he's come into a club where he's got the potential straight away to have 2 finals. Most coaches have to work so hard to get their team into the final. He's come in there, and even Mourinho said, I've given him already an opportunity to win trophies, so he's given him a perfect team, and he's already won 1, got the potential to win another one. Then he's got the club challenge in Tokyo at the end of the year. So three potential titles in his first year, and it's been gifted to him, really.
He did admit it too. He did say yesterday, he said, look, I haven't had time to change anything, so I've come into this match, and last week he said, I'm still playing in the style of last year with largely the same team. Whilst he didn't shake hands and pay total credit, he did admit that it's not his team yet. It's not playing the way he wants them to play. It's a project under construction, clearly. So in that sense, at least he's been, I guess he has to, but he's been big enough to admit that it's really Mourinho's success.
I think he's smart to do that, because the players, if you change it too quickly, they've had success, maybe just adapt to the way that they have been playing and make small change. I think that's smart.
Why fix something that's not broken?
Exactly.
And nothing much has changed as we look at the lineups. Inter Milan lineup first, there they are. And that's basically the standard issue 4-2-3-1, with Stankovic Driller coming in for Pandev from the team that played in the Champions League final.
Yeah, look, this is pretty much the same team that's been playing regularly. Just had a lot of success. Whether they actually line up how they've put it there, I'm not so sure. Probably Zanetti and Cambiaso will, also Zanetti and Stankovic, might actually be like that. But Eto's an interesting one because coming from Barcelona, he was always more attacking. But under Mourinho, he did a lot of defensive work, and for such a proven goal scorer to do that much work was credit to Mourinho. We'll have to wait and see if Benitez plays him in the same role or gives him a little bit more attacking freedom, but definitely the same lineup as we've seen recently.
There's the Atletico lineup, Foz, and of course that's pretty standard as well, with the shining light being Diego Forlan, the player of the FIFA World Cup.
Yeah, just like Benitez said yesterday, his team is not fully prepared yet. Whilst they had a competitive cup match last week, he would have liked more, given that a number of players, Mike Conn and a bunch of them, are playing in the World Cup. So too here. Now, Diego Forlan's exertion going all the way to the semi-final would have been entirely unexpected, but had an unbelievable World Cup. So, you know, these coaches are still in the early part of the season trying to balance between freshening up players like Forlan and also getting them prepared right for the start of the season. For them, the real key will be against Inter not getting struck on the counter-attack, because if Benitez is true to his word and he's playing in the same style, that means that Stankovic and Eto'o in particular are going to play in behind Milito, quite deep, out in the wide areas, and then are going to strike as quickly as possible. And last season on the counter-attack, they were phenomenally good, and at times, you know, thrilling to watch as they flowed forward with 4 and at times 5 players.
Let's have a look at some vision of Inter's last game, which was last weekend against Roma in the Super Cup. They won this one 3-1 with a very similar lineup to what you've got today. Pandev did play. He scored the 41st, scored the first goal for Inter, but earlier Risa scored, as you've just seen, for Roma, and then it was all Inter after that. Pandev on 41 minutes, then Eto'o scored twice in the last 20 minutes, or 70 and 80 minutes. So they'll be coming into this game in a very, very good mood, Zdrilla.
Well, you know, it's interesting playing these games. Their first competitive match is a final of the year, and but certainly now going into today's match, they have obviously a lot of confidence having won this one and coming from behind as well. So I think that shows you know, a lot of character. And look, this is a fantastic side coming up against Atletico Madrid. They'd really fancy their chances of getting another trophy. They've got a lot of confidence in this squad. Even with Benitez coming in, I think the group of players together, knowing each other so well, that's going to give them a lot of confidence. So I see them winning this game.
All right, here are the movements off-season for Inter. Not much. Mario Balotelli leaving is the big one, of course. Ricardo Quaresma as well. But there was talk, Faz, of Mike Conn moving to Real Madrid. That did not happen, so the playing staff pretty much the same.
That's right, Balotelli was the big news as to whether Benitez was going to hold on to him or not. He was a kid who really wanted to go. Mancini, having worked with him before a couple of years ago, was very keen to take him across to Man City. Seen as a phenomenal talent, but one who's usually difficult to manage. Mancini's done it successfully before. Extraordinary talent, but for them, pretty much the same, business as usual. I do think that Serie A is going to suit Benitez. Actually, it should suit him more than the English Premier League, because he's a coach that's very methodical. He was in the sort of sense of the old Ranieri. He was seen very much at Liverpool as being a bit of a tinker man. That was constant rotation of his lineup. If you remember in the last couple of years, Steven Gerrard in particular being left out a number of times, and the fans and the media really struggled to deal with it. That type of approach, really scientific approach, works and is far more accepted across in Serie A. So I think it should be a successful marriage. When they were 1-0 down against Roma last week, it was a very interesting moment, wasn't it? You know, when you're watching it, you're thinking, okay, this is going to be, there's a bit of pressure on him here, you know, coming in after Mourinho, and then your first game is a final, and you're now losing. But when you see the quality of Samuel Eto'o and Diego Milito, some of the players they have on the park, it's you know, these players fit in form, and with the momentum still going on from last season, they're always capable of pulling back any result.
All right, no big headline makers among those who moved to and from Atletico Madrid in the off-season. Let's have a look at those. Merida from Arsenal, Diego Godin, the Uruguayan centre-back, he's on the bench today. Oh, I beg your pardon, he's in the starting lineup today. Mario Suarez from Mallorca, he's on the bench as well. Pablo Ibanez, Roberto Jimenez and Mariano Pernilla are the players who left Asduela. So not much of an impact really on the squad.
No, they've. This is the same as Inter, really. Largely, the squad that got them to where they are and got them into this cup final has remained the same. Godin is the only one that comes in from the players who played in the Europa Cup final against Fulham. So I think defensively they wanted to bolster their stocks a little bit. They've done that, and but like I said, I think it's pretty much the same. I think they have a lot of confidence. Obviously, winning the Europa Cup, they missed out on winning the Spanish Cup. I think it was only a week later, and even Diego Forlan has said that's stuck in their mind even more so than the win is the loss, and they want to make up for that. And obviously, not having the chance to win that many trophies, you don't want to let these chances slip. So it'll be a very intriguing game.
How important is this event for us? It's pretty much part of the festivities that UEFA puts on in relation to its various awards, player awards. The Champions League, Europa League draws, all the dignitaries are there at the Stade Louis II. We just saw some of them, including Prince Albert. So as a match, is it more like a bit of a warm-up for the coaches or something they seriously want to win?
Depends on the club. I think every team who's here and every coach, every club wants to win it. But for the biggest ones, there's greater priorities. There's no doubt. But for an Atletico Madrid, for instance, who finished 9th last year in the league and are in the Europa League again this season, this is a big opportunity to win a trophy. For Inter, likewise, but the league and the Champions League and all these things take far greater precedence. But once they're here, it is a prestigious occasion, and to win this cup is something that every club would be proud to do.
Well, rightly so, because it's the pinnacle really of, or some kind of reward for what they achieved last season. The two teams their captains carrying their respective trophies. There's the Champions League trophy held by Zanetti, and the other one, of course, is the old UEFA Cup, now called the Europa League trophy. And they want to make some sort of statement, these two teams, at the beginning of the season. Stade Louis II is the venue. Capacity is only about 18,000, but it's a very elegant boutique stadium. Commentators for this match for us, Martin Fisher and Michael Robertson.
That look a little bit more relaxed than they did for the Champions League final and the Europa League final some 3 months ago. It's a ground that only holds 18,000, but terrific atmosphere being generated by the fans. Inter Milan supporters away to our left, Atletico to our right, 6,000 fans from each club. They could have sold many more. The traditional pre-match photos for both starting 11s. Ten of this Inter side started the Champions League final in May. The one change, Dejan Stankovic for Goran Pandev, who is amongst the subs. Plenty of experience, 7 30-somethings there. It's a Christmas tree formation for new manager Rafa Benitez. Schneider and Eto'o tucked in behind Diego Milito. the man that got both goals in that win over Bayern Munich. In charge tonight, Massimo Busacca from Switzerland. He was in charge of the Champions League final in 2009 and the UEFA Cup final of 2007. And both of those games were won by Spanish sides. Barca in the Champions League and Sevilla in the UEFA Cup. I wonder if that's going to be an omen for Atletico, who, like Inter, have 10 survivors from their big night. In comes summer signing Diego Godin. Out goes the man who lifted the trophy, Antonio Lopez. So Simão captains them tonight. Dominguez will move across the left back, width provided by Reyes and Simão. Forlan and Agüero scored 48 goals between them last season. Diego Forlan, what a star in South Africa. 5 goals earned him the golden shoe as Uruguay reached the semi-finals for the first time since 1970. Wesley Sneijder and Holland went one step further as they reached the final, only to miss out, beaten by Spain. And it's Inter Milan who get us underway, attacking the goal away to our right-hand side. And sitting alongside me this evening in a very, very warm stadium, Michael Robbins. Good evening, Michael. How do you see this one going?
Well, in principle, Inter Milan must be favourites, the champions of Europe. They've won their league, their cup, they've won their everything. So we're speaking about a side that really need to beat Atletico Madrid to complete what will be something historic. Only Football Club Barcelona last year have been a team that's won all the trophies in front of them in a whole season. And well, if they can beat Atletico Madrid tonight, well, they'll make that wonderful achievement.
Schneider with the early chance.
However, Atletico Madrid are a side that, when they're up against it, they're a good underdog. They're a good underdog, Atletico Madrid.
It wasn't picked up by Pereira. It was always going to be a difficult finish, that very tight angle, but here's a man full of confidence. Coming into this fresh from a wonderful display for his country at the World Cup. Don't forget, he set up both of Inter's goals in the Champions League final. Forlan's first involvement. For Agüero. Cambiasso can bring it clear for Inter. Milito. On by Eto'o. Pereira across for Atletico. Big night, of course, this evening, in particular for Rafa Benitez, who left Liverpool after 6 seasons there in the summer. And what shoes to fill, Michael, those of Jose Mourinho.
The special ones, yes, but what I'm noticing, nothing more than the start of the game, is that Samuel Eto'o, I think, could be playing a little bit closer to Milito this season and not being stuck out on the wing. You mentioned this Christmas tree formation, and I think the idea is that Wesley Sneijder and Samuel Eto'o will be closer to Diego Milito than they were under Mourinho.
Simão. Garcia. Touch in looking for Forlan. Strongly away is Lucio, who just loves to do this. Dribble it towards halfway. Supported left-hand side by Eto'o. Taking on 2. Stankovic trying to take up a good position in the middle. It won't reach him, but it will reach Milito! And the deflection takes it over. I think he came off Pereira. Chance out of nothing. Straight away the shot was on target.
Well, Samuel Eto'o, nothing more than the start of the game is showing is what he can do. He's looking sharp in that move, up a good back heel in the first minute towards Milito. He's looking very lively, Samuel.
Just released the shackles off Samuel Eto'o, Rafa Benitez. And an early corner here for Wesley Sneijder. Inter have 5 in the penalty area. Sneijder lifting it far post. Samuel got up. Appealing for another corner, and the referee concurs. Came off Ufalusi. Schneider, having taken the earlier corner from the right, trots over to the far side to take the second. Gets a few whistles for his trouble from the Atletico supporters. Stankovic is standing about 2 yards off the line, trying to put pressure on the young keeper, De Gea. Sneijder again goes far post. Atletico again clear partially, funded back in by Cambiasso, but couldn't control the drive.
Well, you mentioned before, Martin, that it's quite a veteran team, Atletico Madrid with Inter Milan. with so many players over the age of 30. They're looking tremendously sharp. Don't look as though we're still in what's known as the pre-season. It's a big occasion, it's a great trophy, but it didn't cease to be a pre-season occasion. They're looking extremely sharp in these first few minutes of Inter Milan.
Already lifted one trophy this season. They won the Italian Super Cup at the weekend, beating Roma by 3-1. They were one down in that game.
Strangely enough, in the case of Atletico Madrid, they've not really had a good pre-season at all. Quique Sanchez-Flores is still looking for his best 11 starters. I'm surprised tonight to see Dominguez playing left-back. He normally is a centre-half, and I think perhaps that's to take into account Macon.
Forlan's ball in. Good defending by Samuel.
Well, it seems surprising to me that Quique Sanchez-Flores puts Dominguez left-back because he's worried of the right-back of Inter Milan. We all know that Macon's a sensational player, but it seems strange.
Forlan shot, Lucio in the way. Assunção, it'll fall here for Forlan once more. Simão away from Maicon. Lovely dribble. Was that a penalty? There looked like there was a push in the 6-yard box. Aguero goes down, and the referee waves away his appeals. Pressure still on. Just beyond Simão at the back post.
Well, it did seem, after that wonderful move from Simão, you see him there, nutmeg, and across. There's contact, there's a bit of a shove. Is it enough? That's the question. Chivo seems to be holding him down and shoving him.
Good shout for Aguero and Atletico. Chivo the defender. There is Rafa Benitez, Champions League winner with Liverpool in 2005, UEFA Cup winner with Valencia the season before. He's won both of the trophies that are here tonight. Third if you include the Super Cup. Opposite number, Quique Sanchez-Flores, just 41 years of age.
And has mentioned the fact that he thought it was a penalty.
Not surprised, it looked a good shout to me. Referee Busaka had a good view of it. Aguero for Forlan. Aguero sent sprawling again. This time it was Samuel that sent him to the ground. Here's the penalty incident again, Michael.
Well, I think he feels the contact and he goes with the contact. I'd have blown a penalty. I'd have gave a penalty.
Cambiasso, now Schneider. This to bite the dust. And Busaka wants a word here with Raul Garcia.
In this summer, the Atletico Madrid have signed 2 players. One, Thiago, that was on loan to Atletico Madrid last year, but they've completed the signing, and Felipe Luis, the left back from Deportivo La Coruña, the Brazilian player, and neither have got any place in the starting lineup for tonight's game. Well, starting out, then leaving the squad. They didn't got dressed. Thiago is not properly fit yet, and for some reason, Quique Sanchez-Flores doesn't find room for Felipe Luis.
Here is one of his summer signings though, Diego Gordão. As part of the successful Uruguayan World Cup party in the summer, alongside his new club teammate Diego Forlan. So now on his bike again, but that's too fast even for him. Lively starts from both sides as Stankovic gets up for Inter. Assunção, Stankovic has stayed down, and the referee is sufficiently concerned to call a halt in play. More to do with how he's landed, I think.
There's a bit of thud.
For Lucy, for Pereira.
Well, it's strange, you know, for Lucy. Came as a centre-half to Atletico Madrid. Dominguez is a centre-half. Both of them playing fullbacks. Two centre-halves playing fullbacks.
And here's another centre-half who likes to get forward. Lucio. His intended pass for Schneider has actually run into the path here of Eto. Stankovic is making a great break. Checked all the way, stride for stride by Dominguez. Stankovic okay again after that earlier fall. Up and under from Maicon. Schneider's still chasing. Stopped by Raul Garcia, but he's got it back and wins the free kick. Clumsy challenge by Reyes. I thought he got a bit of the ball there.
Well, he did get a bit of the ball, didn't he? Yeah.
Lucio's up from the back. Samuel in there too. Elito, Stankovic complete the inter-quartet. Referee is ready. Whipped in by Schneider. And it's a good headed clearance by Godin. Forlan can't quite bring it clear. Good ball left hand side by Cambiasso. It's Schneider again for Inter. And again. Oh, that's a lovely ball for Eto if he can keep it in. Just ran away from him. Great vision by Schneider.
It looked as though Pereira kept the Inter forwards on side. He stayed in the box. He didn't go out with the rest of his team.
Hayes clearance, the youngest player on the pitch tonight, just 19 years of age. Never looked back since coming into the side at the turn of the year. Other end, Julio Cesar turns 31 next month. 6 clean sheets in the Champions League success last season, including, of course, the final itself.
He could quite easily be the dad of David De Gea.
Came off Samuel. Atletico's throw.
Kun Agüero is small in stature, quite muscly, but does not use his body. He's also very good when he's playing against big centre-halves. So I'm looking for him to do quite well tonight, because Lucio and Samuel are corpulent centre-backs, and normally Kun Agüero plays good against them. He uses his body, sticks his backside in them, turns them, and he likes to feel that contact with big players.
Easy dribble by Reyes, actually brought to the ground. Atletico's free kick. Not sending many bodies forward here. A look for Agüero.
Using his body again, you notice.
Just holding it away from Kivu. Now taking on the Romanian fullback, who had a torrid night in the Champions League final against Ian Robben. Actually was brought off, but not until into a 2-up. Benitez started his coaching career in the mid-90s at Real Madrid, in charge of the reserve team. His opposite number tonight in the opposite dugout, Kiki Sanchez Flores, was actually playing for the Real Madrid side. Here come Atletico Madrid. Aguero wins the corner off Samuel.
Excellent forward, Kun Aguero. Really, Atletico Madrid up front are dynamite because they've got the skill of Simao and Reyes on the wings, on the wider positions, then Forlan and Aguero up front. Just the case is, can the midfield get the ball to them?
This is their first corner, headed upwards rather than away by Stankovic. Forlan sitting very deep, lost it to Eto. There's a foul there on Ufalusi.
So many times last season, on those days or those evenings when Atletico Madrid were a bit dodgy, not playing that particularly well. The problem was getting hold of the ball, maintaining possession. The midfield and the back four weren't the most eloquent with the ball at the feet. However, when the ball got forward, that's when Atletico Madrid played with all the lights on.
So now it's ball in. Try again. Need to switch the play far side. A good bounce for Reyes. Trying to shake off Kivu. Now Garcia. Samuel to clear. Schneider will try and get hold of this under pressure from Pereira. Into free kick. Skills these from Reyes far side, aware of Kivu's close presence. Stankovic, two after him, and far too close for the referee's liking. Both sides winning plenty of free kicks so far, but neither has been able to do too much with it from the set pieces. Schneider continues to take all of them for Inter. Lucio and Samuel both up far edge of the penalty area. Milito is in there too. It's in towards Samuel and turned behind for a corner. Oh, the flag was up for offside anyway.
Here. I was just wondering what shocking marking that must be, but of course he's got a couple of metres advantage.
It's a good spot by the assistant on this near side. It's a strange old success in Europe last season for Atletico. They played 15 games, they only won 3 of them, 8 draws. The away form was the key, and more particularly the away goals rule that saw them through in several stages, not least the semi-final against Liverpool, when a late strike and extra time by Diego Forlan took them to the final in Hamburg. Of course, they needed extra time in that as well to beat another English Premier League side in Fulham. Schneider. Milito. Maicon has galloped forward on this right-hand side and then come to a stop because nobody saw him. Cambiasso. Away by Godin. Christian Kivu still wearing the protective head guard, having fractured his skull last season. Dominguez. Again, over-striking the ball. I don't know if the pitch is particularly quick or what, Michael, but several times now.
I didn't see them watering the pitch before, well, with the ceremony that there was beforehand and one thing and another. Well, no, it wasn't water beforehand. Mind you, having said that though, I was reading the Spanish press this morning, David De Gea, the goalkeeper, mentioning that he didn't like the ball either. It was even more uncontrollable than the jabalina of the World Cup, yeah?
Oh no. Maicon sandwiched by Simao and Dominguez. Rafa Benitez has just called Zanetti across to him here just to get some instructions as we see this incident again.
Yes, it's not a good tackle from behind and over the ball.
Samuel. Schneider. Now Cambiasso. Maicon, yet to see him in a really advanced position, the Brazilian. Gets it back here from Stankovic. Marito looked offside, would have been had the ball reached him. Maicon. Claims the corner.
That doesn't exist. Well, so it's just... He looked at the referee looked at the linesman and thought, well, somebody's going to take a decision here. Well, I'll give it a corner. Lots of legs, lots of bodies, but nobody touched the ball.
Yep.
Goal kick.
Always very difficult for the officials. And again, the referee here just having a few words with players from both sides for the jostling and pushing that is part and parcel of the game even more these days. Third into corner. Schneider will take from this near side. Atletico defend it well. Schneider leaving it for Maicon. Milito. It's a lovely ball for Schneider. Might just bounce away from him though. Safely grabbed by De Gea.
Yeah, you mentioned those holdings and tuggings in corners and free kicks, or what we're seeing on the screen right now. And the assistant referees there, that should be a deterrent at least, because they're the ones that be able to judge if somebody's been held back. What a risky business now to hold attacking players in these positions of free kicks and corners with the assistant referee there. They don't always get it right, but at least it should be a deterrent, yeah?
Yeah. Play back up the other end now, and Atletico Madrid have won a corner there, second. There's the Inter-president, Massimo Moratti, just appointed his 11th coach in Rafa Benitez. Tough job to follow, as we've said already, in Mourinho. This corner floated in, up goes Lucio to get it away. Out as far as Simao. Here's the Colombian international Pereira. Into space far side. Aguero waits in the centre. Reyes with the drive. Blocked by Kivu. Schneider can't keep it in. Atletico Madrid did start last season in the Champions League, but they had a horrid time. They flopped badly, just 3 points from the group stage. It's a good-looking ball in that Maicon does the right thing and just flicks it away. It's gone for a throw rather than a corner. Wasn't quite aware of what was happening behind him there. Gap went for it. Maicon wants it to run. I'm not sure that it's quite got the momentum. He just about has enough.
What a great World Cup Diego Forlán had. Voted best player of the World Cup.
Sanchez Flores, who signed a new deal at the club in May, as well as winning the Europa League last season. His side reached the final of the Copa del Rey, but lost out to Sevilla. Reyes. Now buildup. Now Garcia. Eto. Hasn't seen much of it for the last 5 minutes or so.
Just as well for Atletico Madrid, really. Wesley Sneijder's not getting into the game too much. Atletico Madrid are not offering a lot of space for the Inter players in midfield. They're trying to close them down whenever they can. You can see now they're creating numerical advantage around the pitch. They're working very well, Atletico Madrid, without the ball, yeah? With the ball, well, they're not doing wonderful things, but without the ball, they're really making life more difficult for Inter Milan after the first 5 minutes.
Zanetti on the ball. Talking in the Italian press earlier this week, Zanetti reminding everybody that 15 years ago today he made his first ever appearance for Inter Milan. This is his 702nd. What a pro. Here's Eto far side. Pass one. Now got to beat Asensao, and pass is just too strong for Kivu.
Yeah, it was the wrong way around, wouldn't it? Normally you'd think Kivu should give it that pass and Samuel don't receive it. Perhaps with extra speed that Samuel's got, he would have received that ball, or caught it at least.
Lucio has just called the referee to him at the other end of the pitch, just wants a word with him about something. Forlan sees the funny side of it. Deep by De Gea, cleared by Inter. Falusi for Dominguez, who hasn't been tested at all so far by Maicon. Simao. Forlan in a pocket of space. Square here for Asensao. Shapes to hits. Took a deflection there off Samuel.
Both Asensao as Raul Garcia both got good shots from that distance.
Fourth corner for Atletico has been taken quickly, and in doing so,
offside.
They managed to stray into an offside position. Box of puzzled faces. Here's the replay as there's no offside there.
No,
I don't think he was ahead of the last defender, but that's the decision that was given. Cambiasso. Clumsy clearance by Ufalusi. Dodan doesn't do that cleverly either. Lucio takes over. Stankovic. Maicon. Melito letting it run.
Melito letting it run. It's the first time I think I've heard you mention Melito.
Yep, he's been kept very quiet so far. Samuel. Sneijder. Atletico Madrid working so hard to close down space. Dominguez coming in there on Maicon, but he's lost his tackle. Godan thought about coming over. Maicon's ball in is tempting, and Asensao it is who turns it behind. Fourth Inter corner. Inter with 5 forward to attack this. It's deep, and Samuel getting up and knows he should have kept that down. It was a real chance, that one. The Argentine clears the crossbar. Probably the best chance that we've had so far this evening. Zanetti. lost it. Quickly forward by Eto.
Come from offside position, Milito.
Offside again. Now Godin. Pereira. Hassan Sao being hassled by Cambiasso. Here's Reyes. Simao. Dominguez offering whip to his left. Forlan's the target. Far too comfortable for Julio Cesar. It's the subs tonight for Inter. Just got a shot of him there. Ludovic Biabiani. Just 22 years of age. He was actually returned to the club in the summer, having spent last season at Parma. Here's Hassan Sao. Raul Garcia. Like Hassan Sao before him, not afraid to shoot from 30 yards out.
And Inter have got to be careful in set pieces, them balls that have been headed out of the box. Hassan Sao and Raul Garcia, whenever they can, whenever they get the goal in the sights, they always go for that shot. They've got to be careful, Inter, about that position.
Lovely first touch by Schneider. Far side is Eto. And he loses the first man easily. Gets the shot away.
Well, it's good for Atletico Madrid that Samuel's not receiving so many balls, yeah, because every time he gets hold of the ball, he looks extremely sharp. Samuel Eto, extremely sharp.
De Gea had the near post covered okay, but such a dangerous customer, the Cameroon international. Last season's triumph, the third time that he's won the Champions League. What a terrific record that is. Past the half-hour mark, still awaiting the first goal. Milito for Eto. Zanetti. Kivu. Much to aim for in the middle. There's only Stankovic in there at the moment. Eto just arriving. Kivu needs some support there. It's not forthcoming. Missed by Kivu completely. Samuel it is who helps it into touch. Aguero. Reyes. Aguero. Space for the shots. The whistle's wide at the left-hand post. Suddenly there was oceans of room there for the Argentine. Where had the Inter defence gone?
And I think he was surprised, because I think he finishes up snatching at it with his left foot. He's dragged it past that post. It's not a great shot. I think he was surprised at the space, and all of a sudden he got space. He reacted perhaps too quickly, got more time than he probably thought.
Player of his stature, you should expect him to be testing the goalkeeper there maybe. Here's Maicon now for Inter. Heading for the corner and taking two Atletico defenders that way too. Garcia can bring it clear for Atletico. Picking out Reyes. Could have gone down under the challenge of Cambiasso. And the whistle has gone now. Reyes on to Forlan, across comes Samuel. He has defended magnificently this evening, Walter Samuel.
El muro le llaman, el muro, the wall.
Beautifully timed that. Just alert to the danger. Godin. Sao. Reyes cutting in from that right-hand side. Raul Garcia. Now Dominguez. Sao has broken into the penalty area. As has Reyes far side and just beyond him.
Really very difficult for that ball to prosper. There was Kun Agüero between two centre-backs, Kivo and Samuel. Very difficult for that ball to arrive at its destination.
What a success story it has been for Inter Milan since 2005. 13 trophies they've picked up, including 5 successive Serie A titles. Last season it was pretty close, just 2 points above Roma by the end of it all. They only lost 4 games in the entire season, and that is what Benitez has to match as Atletico win another free kick here. Is the man over it. Ufaluzzi has joined those in the penalty area. Godin is in there. The ball is nodded comfortably away by Inter. Forlan. Trying to get Reyes in behind Kivu. Ufaluzzi arriving. Foot was high on Eto. Maicon, firmly struck. Stankovic.
It was a great run with Stankovic. Fantastic ball to Maicon. But the control, the first touch just let him down. It was a great run. He cut the back 4 out of Atletico Madrid. Midfield players catch him. Raul Garcia. Just that first touch let him down.
Forlan with 86 goals to his name in 3 years at Atletico Madrid. Has had a sighter yet this evening. Stankovic. Beautiful chest control by Schneider. Eto, he has been the main danger for Inter so far this evening. 2 against him here. This occasion couldn't wriggle his way through. It's a great ball out of defence. Agüero. Very good challenge by Samuel, and Inter can pick it up with Maicon, but he might have just overran that. Stopped by Simao, who was too eager to play it forward quickly. Noise at the moment coming from the end away to our right, where the Atletico Madrid supporters are massed. statistic just shows to you that they are slightly bossing it possession-wise. Best chance has gone Inter's way. Samuel's header over the bar from a corner.
And Atletico Madrid would claim that they've not been given a penalty. But there's nothing in it really, is there?
It's very, very tight. But we have to have an outcome tonight. Extra time and penalties are there for us should they be required. They've never been needed before, penalties in the Super Cup final. Not had a few extra times down the years though. Cambiasso looks in some trouble.
Cambiasso and Reyes.
They look a happy lot, Michael.
Well, they are, and they're happy to be here. Atletico Madrid have got a wonderful history, but normally they're famous for snatching a disaster out of the jaws of victory, the jaws of glory. They're a special club. Atletico Madrid in Spain are appreciated and liked by most fans, and we all love it when they win something, because normally they're on the wrong end of things. If Atletico Madrid didn't exist, you'd have to invent them.
So presumably their triumph last year in Hamburg went down very well with the nation.
Absolutely.
Schneider just checked over his shoulder to see what was close to him. The flag is up against Eto.
It might be strange for some people to see Samuel Eto play on a wing, but when he first came to Spain to play as a young boy in Real Madrid and Leganés, another team in the Madrid area, he always played on the ring more on the right wing because of his electric speed. It's only when he really goes to Mallorca, before going to Barcelona, you saw him as a forward. But normally, as a young kid, he played normally on the wing.
Of course, last season, Mourinho, more often than not, was using on the right-hand side of a midfield three, if you like, with Milito up top on his own. Here is Milito, robbed by Assunção. Reyes. Cambiasso in the way. Forward by Kivu. Cambiasso looking for Milito. Neither team keeping the ball at all well in that little passage of play. Simão. Last 4 minutes of the first half. Still 0-0 in Monaco. A very warm, sultry evening. Agüero. He's got it back. Chance here for Agüero, and his aim just went away from him for the second time in this first half.
Yeah, he had a sort of slash at it, didn't he? But it was a good move. A very sharp 1-2 between 4 players, really. Kun Agüero attacking those 4 players in the space. Gets it. Really might have took it best to his left foot. He's going to go with the left peg where he's got probably more room because they're closing down on the right-hand side. The fact that they're closing down the right-hand side made him just have an erratic slash at the ball.
Reyes on his bike. Ufalusi trying to get up in support. Zanetti on the cover. Free kick for the challenge on Eto. Well, the best chances for Atletico Madrid, Michael, have all been for Agüero.
Yep. He's tried one with his left foot that he didn't do particularly well with, pulled it past the near post. Now one with his right foot was probably worse than the first attempt with the left foot. But however, I do think he should have probably gone with the left foot on that occasion because, as I said, the back four were closed him down on his right-hand side. If he just took it to his left-hand side, he'd have had more space. But perhaps he didn't want to try with his left foot, having just failed with the shot before.
Yeah, might be just preying on his mind a bit. Here he is dropping deep to collect. 20 goals last season, but didn't score at all in the Europa League. Godin. Pereira. Confident touch by Forlan. Ufalusi. Reyes can Atletico Madrid get the breakthrough goal just before half-time. Reyes still has the ball, but a bit of a rush there to try and pick out Aguero. Concedes possession.
And Maicon on the move down the right-hand side, but they didn't spot him.
He's not gone forward too often this evening, but when he has, his colleagues haven't picked him out. Aguero tripped.
What I like about the Kun Aguero, he doesn't mess around. He goes straight at you. He makes the defender, the midfield player. He's very direct with his play. Great skill and both with great speed. He doesn't mess around.
Protects it from Cambiasso. What a fabulous ball in for Dominguez. Too deep for Forlan. Nodded away by Lucio. Assunção should win that. Up comes Ufalusi. Showed a bit too much of that to Schneider. Zanetti is across again for Inter. Reyes reclaimed it.
Well, they're starting to dominate now, I think, Madrid.
Looking good as the first half draws to a close, and Reyes it was who went for glory from 30 yards. And for all their shots so far, Michael, Julio Cesar is yet to make a save. In fact, neither goalkeepers had to stop anything.
No.
Half-time whistle goes, spot on time. 0-0 at the break. The best chance was for Samuel heading it over, but Atletico have created more opportunities. Aguero shooting wide once and driving over once, but at half-time in Monaco, it's as we were at the start. It's Inter 0, Atletico Madrid 0.
How do you shift this soaring lighthouse?
Because if Schneider gets the ball, it's been proven time and time again, both with the Netherlands and with Inter last year, that he will find a pass, his extraordinary pass of the ball. But I remember in particular his left-footed pass last year against Chelsea, late on in the late knockout stages of the Champions League. If you remember, he turned and instantly hit a pass to Edo off his left foot over two defenders. Was extraordinary ball. So the more space you give him behind, the more they're going to hurt you. Diego Milito loves that space. 2 goals in the final, going on the counter-attack. That's what they cannot afford to do. They haven't so far. As the game opens up, though, it's someone like Schneider or Aguero who has the quality to decide the game.
Okay, so it's Inter Milan, the champions of Europe, against Atletico Madrid in the Super Cup. Atletico Madrid, nicknamed what are they called?
Conchoneros.
Conchoneros, which means the mattress makers. Let's go back to Martin Fisher and Michael Robinson.
To the likes of Schneider, to Eto'o, and obviously to Diego Milito. Diego Milito, we've hardly seen him in this first half. So I think they're going to have to start to look wide. So to get the ball out of the midfield and go wide, so that Atletico Madrid players have to move themselves more. They have to go from side to side to try and close them. Make it harder for them to close them down, because when they're based in the centre, it's very easy. They're localised. It's easy to close them down. I think they've got to get wide. We've not seen Maicon go too much. We've seen Samuel Eto'o in 2 fewer occasions receive the ball now, and he's been extremely dangerous. They've got to get the ball wider into Milan, and in the case of Atletico Madrid, I think they've got to do more of the same. And let's hope that Kun Aguero finds his shooting boots, he's created great occasions, and that Forlan can get on the end of one. But I think that Quique Sanchez Flores will be slightly happier with his side than Rafa Inter Milan.
Atletico it is that's got us back underway, attacking the goal away to our right now. Behind that goal is where their supporters are congregated. And they were slow to fill the stadium at that end, but we know that they're here now. Plenty of noise, waving their scarves around in very enthusiastic fashion. Here's Cristian Chivu, the Romanian international. And Samuel picking out Maicon. Godin with the clearance. Zanetti across, reclaiming it for Inter. Schneider started the first half very brightly, but then his dominance just disappeared, and the first yellow card possibly here as Lucio goes in. Whistler's gone. Referee reached for his back pocket momentarily, and now he says no. It's a clumsy challenge from Lucio, but nothing more than that. Just a word from the referee and a free kick.
You know, you're right. Schneider and Edon and company were very lively in the first 5-6 minutes of the game, until, of course, Atletico Madrid started to press in the centre of midfield. And if the centre of the midfield of Inter Milan don't get the ball, they're up front, they're not going to get it.
Here comes the free kick. It's Lucio who gets ahead to it, and referee Busaka once more has spotted an infringement. Possibly that push on Cambiasso. The last 7 Super Cup finals have alternated between the Champions League winner and the UEFA winner. So Barca last year won it. So that pattern suggests Atletico Madrid tonight, if you believe in such things. Spanish sides have reached the final more often than any other nation, 16 times, but Italian sides have won it the most often, 9, and it's Inter's big rivals AC Milan who have won it the most, 5 times, and they might get a chance here. Inter Milan, it's Milito, forced himself wide, gets the second bite, Godin in the way. Just wonder if he should have slipped that through for Schneider, Michael.
Yeah, and that's what Schneider's thinking exactly. Been saying the same thing. Been held there by Assunção.
Still the first goal won't come. Lucio at full stretch, not where he intended it to go. Reyes has got it, but not for long. For Lucy. Inter Milan have already enjoyed themselves in Monaco last night. 4 of Benitez's new players picked up special awards from UEFA.
And one picked up 2.
Yeah, Diego Milito got best striker and the best player. Other awards going to Julio Cesar, Maicon and Schneider. Last 24 hours too in Monaco, the draws have been made for next season's Champions League and Europa League. The Champions League, Inter have got Werder Bremen, Tottenham Hotspur and Twente Enschede, and they'll go to Holland for their first fixture on September the 14th. In the Europa League, Atletico have got Bayer Leverkusen, Rosenborg and Thessalonica, and that will be their first fixture on Thursday, September the 16th. A long road awaits both sides if they are to retain their titles. Atletico get the throw. Headed away by Samuel.
It's strange, this sort of fixture, really, Martin, because I think both managers would accept losing tonight to come and play it again next season.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Good anticipation again by Lucio. Milito. As was his wont at Liverpool, out of the dugout all the time, issuing instructions to his team. Just gone to the end of the road at Liverpool, 6 seasons there. Last season it all started to fall apart. They finished 7th in the English Premier League, their lowest finish for over 20 years. And so many of the Anfield faithful had given them their full support for so long, but you just sensed last season that it was turning. And Rafa felt that he'd done as much as he could at the club, and it was time to move on. What a job he's got for himself now with Inter. Which way has the decision gone this time? It looks as though both were holding on to each other. It's gone against Cunagero.
Well, it looked to be 6 to 1 and half a dozen of the other, really, didn't it, quite frankly?
Well, as a former striker yourself, Michael, you'll know that those decisions always went the way of the centre half, didn't
absolutely. And also as a former striker, what you try and do is not foul them to give them a free ticket to get out of trouble, yeah?
Absolutely. Forlan, Ufalusi. I just showed too much of that to Cambiasso, but it's fallen here for Reyes. Shots on, possibly left-footed. Instead it's for Aguero. Can he get through? Almost stumbles to the ground. Atletico fans behind the goal felt that there might have been a little clip there. Mistake here by De Gea. Made up for it with his head, but he's a long way from goal still. It's Samuel Eto'o. Milito is infield. Eto'o with head down. He's bombing forward and wins the corner cleverly off Pereira.
It's every time he intervenes somewhere, I thought something happens.
He's looked lively, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Almost went horribly wrong there for the 19-year-old. It's his 5th corner. Lucio and Samuel again are up. It's too deep for Samuel. Goal kick. Mess up by Kivu. So much time to deal with it. Aguero. Lost his footing. It was embarrassingly poor, that by Kivu.
It'll be the hub.
Well, we're hot here, wearing our headphones. Goodness knows how sweaty he is down there with headgear on too. Zanetti. Milito will take the foul. Snyder just waiting for Lucio and Samuel to get forward. Just to the left-hand side of the penalty area. Forlan in the way, was he 10 yards? Aguero, now this could be promising. Zanetti on the cover.
Oh, he read it well, Zanetti.
He's in trouble here. Two Argentines going hell for leather for that one. Just signed a new 2-year deal for the club, Javier Zanetti. He just kicked the foot of Aguero. By the time that deal comes to an end, he'll be 39. But no sign of him slowing up. Had a terrific season last year. Helping Inter to the treble.
He's also played in all different positions. sometimes played as a full-back or midfield or wide in the midfield position.
He's a coach's dream, isn't he? Now Garcia. Cambiasso admits his mistake there. Too much of a rush. Still anybody's game. Aguero. Strong challenge by Cambiasso, a fair one by Cambiasso. Schneider fighting Eto'o to get after that. Pereira comes across. Isn't he quick? Wasn't he clean?
He's lightning, Pereira. Lightning.
Superb timing too. Caps to his name now for Colombia. 7th season at Atletico. Kivu shaping to throw this one long. And comes all the way back for Zanetti. So he fooled me if none of the Atletico players. Maicon, careless. Fallout. This is Reyes. Lucy's still free to his right.
No, I think Ufalusi imagined that Reyes was going to go it alone, cut inside with his left foot. He threw the towel in, didn't carry on with the move. And that all comes from a really sloppy throw-in, really.
Yeah. Well, they'd loaded the penalty area, then they went backwards. At the moment, if you had to put money on one side, you'd possibly say Atletico, but then we saw so often last season the Champions League into not so much struggling in game, but they were certainly having to soak up pressure, and then they would score a goal on the counter.
Well, they're so good at the counter-attack because they've got so much speed up front, you know. And Wesley Sneijder's got that long pass and set off people like Eto'o or Milito. It might be an overlap of Macon from one side. It's a side really for all seasons of the year. Inter Milan, they can attack you, they can wait for you, they can compete in the game like they're doing today.
Good tackle by Asensao. Forlan carries it forward. Reyes. Can he get the shot away this time, left-footed? Yes, he can! Oh, it's a fantastic save by Julio Cesar.
Well, it certainly is a great save. Down, on the floor, low down, where the goalkeepers don't like them, but he's reacted wonderfully well.
Here comes the Atletico corner. Simao. That's more comfortable for the Brazilian. Way back from Maicon for Samuel to start again. Inch perfect ball for Maicon. Cambiasso. This looks promising. Schneider just undercooked it. It's that final ball. Forlan getting himself in a bit of a tangle. Raul Garcia. Lucio should be favourite. The whistle's already gone.
extremely well, Julio Cesar there. The ball bouncing just in front of him.
Oh, that's a horrible tackle by Maicon. To his credit, Simão was quickly back on his feet, enabling the referee to be lenient and keep the card in the pocket. Garcia, Aguero, Reyes, Aguero, Reyes, will he pull the trigger? Yes he will, and there's the result! Atletico Madrid take the lead! Reyes with the goal! Denied by Julio Cesar 2 minutes ago, not this time though, and it's the Spanish side who go in front.
Well, they went through the back four like a toast of salt, really, because it was Aguero had the chance, Reyes had the chance. They've got no answer to that sharp dribbling and interpassing of the Atletico Madrid players. And at the end of the day, pues, José Antonio Reyes scores with some ease. But if we look now, Aguero and Reyes do it all between them. And they're very static. Maicon can't make the last ditch tackle, goes through Julio Cesar, but Aguero and Reyes combining on the edge of the box. He was too smart for the inter-defence.
Well, I did suggest about 5 minutes ago that on balance of play, maybe Atletico Madrid deserve to be in front. Now they are in front, and flares explode away to our right-hand side, and Atletico Madrid have something to hold on to now. Inter will have to be a little bit more positive. Just when they go back to the goal, whether or not, when he sees it again, Julio Cesar will be disappointed, beaten at the near post. Don't often see that for a goalkeeper of his enormous quality.
Yes, it sort of went through him, didn't it, really?
Maicon's early delivery. Modine to get it away. Here comes Lucio. He's overrun that. Assunção, what a lovely ball into space. It'll just run away from Aguero. Thought for a moment here, Michael, that the two of them were going to get in each other's way.
Yep. Too many cooks spoiling the broth, but no. At the end he was sharp, Reyes, and too sharp for Julio Cesar. Right, as you mentioned. Missed it at the near post. You won't be happy with that.
Reyes only scored 4 goals last season. Only one of them came in Europe. It was an important goal though against Galatasaray in the last 32. Kivu. Cambiasso. It'll run for Schneider. Felucci was calm. Forlan. Boral Garcia. Schneider. Looking for Milito. Finds the considerable chest of Pereira. Dominguez. Lovely ball up the line for Simão. On one for Aguero. Across goes Samuel. A second goal now might just kill off the game. Aguero forced wide. Got it over though. And it's cleared by Kivu. Raul Garcia. Schneider got in there quickly. Atletico felt that there was handball there by Stankovic. Nothing doing from referee Busaka. Nicely done by Assunção. If not down the left, they'll try down the right. Ufalusi. Good sliding challenge by Kivu. Inter really having to dig in here to prevent Atletico going 2 up. That's a strong challenge by Assunção and Schneider. Being ripped apart at the start of this second half into Milan. Inter are preparing a change. Looks like Goran Pandev, the Macedonian, is being stripped and ready to come on. Rafael Benitez just down to our left. Sorry.
I'm trying to think who might be taken off. I can't imagine he's going to take Stankovic off, but I can see more likely taking Stankovic off than I can Samuel Eto'o and Sneijder.
Eto'o continues to look the most likely for Inter Milan.
It's true also that Diego Milito has only received one ball. He's just not around. He's missing in combat.
Yeah, not been in the game at all, has he?
But Zanetti and Cambiaso have had too little possession, or they've not been able to do anything with that possession. The ball normally goes back to the back four, as we're seeing right now, and then it's rubbish that goes up front, or difficult to control. So we see Sneijder can't control that one, and that's pretty much the way Inter are playing. Atletico Madrid are making life very difficult for them. We're not seeing Eto'o, we're not seeing Milito, as we mentioned, we're not seeing Sneijder, we're not seeing Macon being able to get up his wing. The creative side of Inter Milan is non-existent.
Smoke now from those flares enveloping the stadium. Inter supporters very quiet. All the noise from the Atletico supporters to our right. Midway through this second half, and Atletico look very likely to increase their lead. Simao, good position here, taking up by Aguero. Close down by 4, but still trying to get his way through. Maicon stopped him. And the whistler's gone. And now Inter can make their change indeed. Atletico Madrid want to make a change too. Firstly, you were right, Michael, it's Stankovic coming off for Goran Pandev.
And from Merida is going to come in for Atletico Madrid. Let's see who this one is for. Will it be for Simao?
First things first, with Pandev on, it means Inter now line up as they were at the start of the Champions League final, but in a different formation. Pandev in possession here, cross on the right-hand side. Stankovic's evening is over.
From Merida, the guy that's waiting to come on, signed this summer from Arsenal.
It's going to be the goal scorer. Another former Arsenal man.
He's limping. Slightly limping, and he's coming off. Well, for Jose Antonio Reyes, it's mission completed.
That could be the goal that wins the Super Cup for Atletico Madrid. If it is, he's done his shift. And Fran Mareda comes on after having a 3-year spell at Arsenal without ever really pulling up any trees. A couple of goals last season, but snapped the hands off Atletico Madrid when the chance arose for him to move there in the summer.
That can play. He's still only 20 years of age, but very young to London, and there's lots of hopes deposited in the young lad. He started life playing with Football Club Barcelona, went from Football Club Barcelona to Arsenal, and now to the club that he said he always supported as a lad.
It's amazing how many players say that when they're signed for somebody, isn't it? In his press conference yesterday, Rafael Benitez was saying that his dad was a big Atletico Madrid supporter. He didn't mention where his Italian allegiances lay when he was a kid. But he's got a job on tonight now. Remember, they did come from behind at the weekend to win the Italian Super Cup against Roma, but I would suggest that Atletico Madrid are a slightly trickier opposition tonight Fierro has looked so lively throughout.
Yeah, I mentioned before in the first half that the Kun Aguero against big players, he enjoys that. He's very sharp, uses his body, makes life very difficult for them, and he has caused lots of problems.
Hooked away by Raul Garcia, reclaimed by Lucio. Samuel underneath it. Cambiasso and now Zanetti. Here's Schneider. Milito. Lucio. Maicon. Running at Simao. Into the feet of Pandev. Back here for Cambiasso. Over the top. Milito's offside. Wouldn't have counted anyway, even if either of those shots had gone in. Flag was up swiftly far side against Milito. Well, there's half a dozen, isn't there? Schneider may have been offside too. De Gea wasn't to know. He made the save anyway.
Well, the defence were quite disciplined there. Not one of them took a step back to facilitate the position of Milito. They were quite brave, maintaining the line there.
Tell us a bit more about this goalkeeper. He's only 19 years of age, Michael,
Yeah.
but big future ahead of him, yeah?
He was pre-selected to go to South Africa, but then he was discarded at the last minute when Vicente Bosque had to reduce the squad. Strangely enough, this last week he's been training with a baseball mask, what the stoppers have on, and they've been throwing hard balls, like cricket balls and baseballs, at his face.
Don't they like him?
No, in the pictures we've seen in the newspapers have been quite surprising. And the reason behind it is for him not to turn his head when somebody's having a shot, to keep looking forward and not tend to turn his head, because notice now and again he turns his head. So they put him through this particular torture throughout the week of throwing baseballs and cricket balls and hard balls at his face.
Drastic measures. Maicon.
So if he gets no future with Atletico Madrid, he can always join the New York Yankees.
Yeah. Really goal from somewhere into Milan. Pandev. So very, very tight. Cambiasso just trying to nudge it into the path of Kivu here. He might have done enough to win a corner there. Yes, he has. Came off Hassan Sao. Schneider's delivery. Have another go. This one's deeper. Oh, good chance, back post.
It was a good chance.
Sionetti in each other's way, weren't they?
Yep. I think it's Lucio that pushes him. Right, is it Samuel? No, Lucio. He's fouled by his own player.
As though Benitez has just shouted on to Atu to stay alongside Milito now. Schneider has moved across this left-hand side and Pandev on the right, so it looks as though it's more of a 4-2-4 now, possibly.
Yeah.
As in to search for the equalising goal.
You see, but nonetheless, you can put all the forwards in the world you like on, but it's not necessarily more offensive if you can't get the ball.
Yeah.
And I think that Cambiasso and Zanetti are far more than decent players, they're good players, but they're not the most creative in the world. And so that ball, those two central midfield players are looking forward to finding the forward players. It's not always a good ball, it's not always a quality ball. and it'll be a less of a quality ball when they've got more work to do to try and get over it, because they've got less numbers there now.
Yeah. Two players you mentioned there, Zanetti and Cambiasso, not included in Maradona's squad for the World Cup in South Africa, but they're back in now for the first one named by Batista for the friendlies coming up in Spain. Here's a bit of pressure on Julio César. Impressed with the work ethic of Atletico Madrid this evening. Not just the midfield pair of Al Garcia and Assunção that you expect, but certainly Agüero and Forlan. Forlan's not on. Kivu forced to go back to collect.
Ralph Bennington now is preparing Coutinho. He's looking for something. He desperately needs something.
Cambiasso. Pandev for Schneider. Now on the left-hand side of midfield, remember. Van Mareira. Raul Garcia. Van Mareira. Ufalusi up in support to his right. Ignores him. Instead comes in field for Agüero to strike. Comfortable that time for Julio César. Atletico have got it again. Forlan's made a darting run. That ball won't reach him though. Sauer's reclaimed it. Oh. Clumsy challenge by Zanetti.
A great first touch to Simaus with his knee.
It's Agüero that's going to... No, not Agüero. It's number 10 for Inter Milan. So Schneider that's going to come off.
Number 10, Schneider.
Well,
looks exhausted.
One of the offensive players had to come off because you can't fit everybody in there. One of them had to come off, and it's Wesley Sneijder that's come off. Coutinho, and he'll play just ahead of the two midfield players, or behind Diego Milito.
Just 18 years of age.
Yeah, and he's got plenty of talent as well.
First thing he's got to do is try and help Julio César and company keep this free kick out. He's just to the left of the wall. Forlan has real quality in that right boot from this kind of situation. Got it past the wall, but not past that fella.
Well, it's a substitute season, and Coutinho's gone in now. Quique Sánchez-Flores is preparing for Jurado to come onto the pitch. It might well be that he could take off Forlan, because he plays behind a front player, basically, Jurado.
Nasty landing there for Milito. Whistle has gone. Inter's free kick. Approaching the last 10 minutes now in Monaco. The business end of proceedings. And Coutinho already fancies this. He's over the ball with Kivu. Lucio has now arrived. It's a battle of seniority. We know who'll win that particular argument. And Coutinho has made way. Atletico with 4 in the wall, and the 5th just a couple of yards to their left. It's Lucio for Inter. Well, it's in amongst the Inter fans.
Well, there's a good job there's a running track around this ground. If he'd have done that in Anfield, he'd have killed 5.
Yeah, somebody's got a souvenir for their trip home.
Well, as I say, Jurado's going to come on. I don't know if he's going to take. I don't know if he's going to take Forlan off, because if not, he'd probably put Diego Costa on. But Jurado's a player that likes a free role in midfield. He's a very creative sort of player. Doesn't play up front altogether, but it'll be interesting to see who comes off.
Forlan from distance, trying to catch out Julio Cesar.
But it's that sort of area where Forlan's had a shot, is where Jurado normally plays.
Milito is offside.
They came from an offside position.
You're right, it is Forlan who is going to be withdrawn for Jurado. Get a move on, says the ref. The man with the golden locks, the golden boy of last season. And on comes Jurado.
The next Real Madrid player.
And immediately involved. Raul Garcia into the path of Simao. Aguero and Jurado waits. Here's Aguero! It's all over! 2-0 Atletico Madrid. Kun Aguero with the second goal. 8 minutes from time.
And it looked easy. The inter-defence has had no answer to the talent, for the technical ability of the footballers of Atletico Madrid. And I think it was Simao on the left that made it with his ability, and Aguero in this case, he didn't miss, he didn't make an error.
A lovely move, isn't it, Michael?
But Lucio looked as though he was about 75 trying to block that one. It looked so easy. Kivo didn't get on the cover, and Aguero basically walked it in. 2-0.
Well, he's deserved that goal, hasn't he? He's been terrific this evening. Made it look easy, but it was all about the timing of the run, the anticipation, good delivery by Simao. And unless interstage, an incredible recovery. Atletico Madrid will be going home with the Super Cup. Here's Kivu. Now Coutinho. Over the top, Eto'o is arriving, and he did get the touch. Just thought that he might have just nudged Godin over there.
Well, it doesn't look as though Inter Milan are going to make history in winning all the 6 trophies that they've competed for in the season. Barcelona will maintain being the only club ever to win 6 trophies on the trot.
I wonder if there's a fella in Madrid now, Michael, a certain Jose Mourinho, allowing himself a wry smile. He's not the best of friends with Rafael Benitez, is he?
No. Well, at least that professional competition between the two, I'm sure Mourinho will be delighted. Not delighted for his own football players, I'm sure he thinks the world of them.
On the balance of play, Atletico Madrid deserve to be in this situation.
And tonight in Madrid,
there's Eto'o, couldn't control it.
The monument of Neptune will be surrounded by tens and tens of thousands of Atletico Madrid fans. That's where the Atletico Madrid fans go to celebrate their triumphs. Nobody's been to Neptune before the Europa League. When they've been there for many a year. And twice in a matter of months we'll be going there. Yes, tens and tens of thousands of Atletico Madrid fans will be with Neptune tonight.
First yellow card of the game for the man that will be lifting that Super Cup in a few minutes, Simao. Just for kicking the ball away here, trying to. If they were noisy during the first half, they're deafening at the moment, the Atletico Madrid supporters. close to another piece of silverware. Another piece of silverware. Don't often see those words together in a sentence for Atletico Madrid, do you?
No. Mind you, I've seen Atletico Madrid lose worse games than this.
In this situation?
Oh yeah, I've seen them lose worse. Yeah.
With 5 to go and a 2-0 lead. Well, the UEFA officials down beneath us are already beginning to rope off the area for the cup as this free kick is whipped in. Cambiasso had a clear-headed near post but couldn't get a good touch on it with that bald pate of his. They're not putting the red and white ribbons on it just yet, though.
No, it's not advisable.
It would be a little bit premature in the eyes and opinions of Michael Robinson. In comes the cross again. It'll reach Lucio. He's not giving it up. And he's forced a corner. Again, absolute hesitation between the officials. Corner quickly taken. Coutinho. They'll have another one. In comes the centre. Atletico Madrid get it away. Back in by Kivu, on by Maicon. This time it's Dominguez that clears. Just teasing into Milan now, saying you might get another chance. In towards Cambiasso, but too deep for him. And it'll be an Atletico Madrid throw-in.
I mean, they've won cup if they win. They've won comfortably, you know. Well, they've had the odd chance, as you mentioned, Samuel's header in the first half, but frankly,
nothing more than that.
No. I've seen that Atletico Madrid have driven crazy in midfield. We've not seen anything of the star players. It's true that with Samuel Eto'o, every time he's got the ball, he's done wonderfully well, but he's hardly received it. Milito, who was given the prize of the best player in Europe for last year, he's touched it twice, I think. And Atletico Madrid have created enough occasions to have won this game as comfortable as they have done. Or they are doing, should I say, yeah?
Rafael Benitez was heavily linked with Javier Mascherano, one of his former Liverpool players, but earlier today he's finally signed for Barcelona. Might yet bring another Liverpool player to the San Siro. Dirk Kuyt is on his radar too, as Coutinho with a lovely ball for Maicon, pulling it back here for Pandev. Penalty given.
He's given it.
Well, he couldn't have been in a better position. He was almost involved in the challenge himself, and a yellow card for Raul Garcia.
This is Atletico Madrid, huh?
You were saying it. What are we now? We're in the 89th minute.
There always has to be agony attached to Atletico Madrid. They can never have a normal stroll in the park.
It's a good shout by the referee, that, isn't it?
Yes, it's a penalty.
Excellent positioning by the referee, Massimo Busacca.
Well, Diego Milito's going to have his third touch of the ball of the evening. It could be a goal, a penalty. No, but Atletico Madrid can't do anything normal. There always has to be agony and anguish surrounding everything.
Just looking around at some of the Atletico Madrid supporters in the stadium, and one or two of the local Spanish journalists around us, and many of them can't watch this. Milito to take the penalty.
No, they don't have to watch it because they've seen it all before.
Milito to try and give Inter Milan an unlikely lifeline. De Gea with the save!
And what a save, and what a save.
Terrific from the 19-year-old, and that sums up his night and the evening of the Champions League holders, Inter Milan.
And they're trying to make a substitution now. Strange enough in a corner, which is not often we see those things. Simão's coming off for Diego Camacho. Diego Camacho, a centre midfield player.
The man that scored the winning goals in the Champions League final, Diego Milito, doesn't find the net this evening. Terrific stop by David De Gea. 2 minutes of added time to play as the corner comes in. Punched away by the keeper.
You notice he didn't turn his head away.
It's working. Zanetti. Cleared by Fran Moreira. Then by Camacho. I'll credit them, the Inter Milan supporters surely don't give their chance any kind of chance now, but they're still here. Now if they time this right, Atletico could go through. It's a cynical challenge from Samuel. Could have been even worse.
Well, yeah.
Aguero was free to his left, an early ball, and they were in. Confirmation of that change with Camacho coming on as that earlier corner was about to be taken. Touch of cramp maybe here for, is it Dominguez that's down?
Dominguez. Who's had a very good game. He's a centre-half. The most normal thing in the world will be able to start the season as a centre-half.
He's never struggled with Maicon tonight, has he?
No, not at all. It's not that he's stopped Maicon, it's that Maicon's never got forward.
Well, there's the countdown. We're inside the last 15 seconds now as Massimo Busacca, the referee, checks his wristwatch once more. The Atletico bench are up as one, celebrating, congratulating each other as the referee blows for time. The UEFA Cup winners, the Europa League winners, Atletico Madrid have beaten Inter Milan in Monaco. 2 goals in the second half from Reyes and Aguero have done the trick, and it's more Spanish joy for Atletico.
Well, yes, and while we're speaking now, can you imagine all the cars in my hometown in Madrid, all going down to the monument of Neptune, all the car horns blowing, and I'm sure they can't believe it. There always had to be that moment of agony, having to have the penalty kick taken that could have put Inter Milan back into the game, but they deserve to win. They've been comfortably better than Inter Milan. I'm surprised they've been comfortably better. We didn't see the star players of Inter Milan perform, or didn't receive enough ball. Samuel Eto'o was magnificent every time he received it, but he hardly received it. Milito never got it, and when he got it, he didn't do nothing with it. Wesley Sneijder didn't compete, and therefore, if up front they're not going to create Atletico Madrid problems, they were always going to receive problems, and problems they did receive. 2 goals, 2-0, and the trophy goes back to Spain.
A great night for Atletico. Final score in Monaco: Atletico Madrid 2, Inter Milan 0.
Well, there you go. Atletico Madrid wins the first European trophy of the season, and the champions have been dethroned, at least momentarily. We'll be going back to Monaco for the trophy presentation in a moment, but first some views from Craig Foster and David Zdrilic. Craig will be running the goals and that penalty incident in a moment, but your final thoughts on this?
I think that Benitez sat for the second half writing notes in his book, which he loves to do. I hope he's got some good notes, because it's going to be a long, long season if you're trying to emulate the achievements of last year. And things have changed. Flores was very smart, and basically they did a bit of not entirely, but a bit of a Mourinho on Inter, and that is they counter-attacked them twice and utilised the space, particularly the second one you're going to see. But nice combinations here. Aguero very good, Reyes playing out on the right, comes inside, just playing around with Aguero. Forlan was good, Aguero was really excellent. But in the second half, Flores sent them out, and for the first 5 minutes they pushed on, full pressure, to try and see if they could get the first goal. But then they come and sat back again, And here Maicon, your right back, was up almost at halfway. See Maicon there, they've just stolen the ball off him. They attack. Lucio, your central defender, comes out. Now they're all over the place, and all Simao does is set Lucio up, just drag it slightly so he doesn't have to beat him, just puts it across. Beautiful. So 2 counter-attack goals against an Inter side who are never able to use the space in behind that they love. And look at Schneider. Look at the way they closed him down in the second half in particular. And this is a brilliant save by the 19-year-old keeper. But Schneider in the second half, at least 5-6 times he got the ball. He was, he had a guy behind him, a guy in front of him. Their use of him this season is going to have to change. And in fact, he ended up out on the left touchline trying to get some space. Finally, when they went down the right with Maicon and went wide around Atletico, was when they ended up, came in for the penalty, when Maicon flicked it back, got the foul, got the penalty. So very interesting for Benitez this season, I think. Perhaps not in Serie A, because most teams will sit back against them, they're much stronger. But when it comes to the Champions League, you're going to see Wesley Sneijder with virtually no space this season. And given how reliant they are on him, it's going to be really fascinating.
He's been discovered, so he's going to have a tough season. But David, what Fozzie implied at half-time, which is Atletico surrendering possession to Inter, did appear to have come true. I think the stats will show that Inter had turned that around in their favour and couldn't win the match. Because not their game.
I think when you saw last year, they were absolutely amazing at counter-attacking football. That's their game. When they have to play, like they had to today, to get into the game, it's not their game, and they find it difficult to do that. The other factor is Benitez coming in. I think it's a massive challenge, not only for Benitez, but for the players. They've just won everything with Mourinho. Everybody loves Mourinho. You only hear good things about him. To come in after that, yeah, sure, he's got 2 trophies to play for straight away, but I think it's a lot of pressure on him. Now losing this game, going into the first few games of the Serie A, it's not going to be easy for Benitez, but a player like Schneider, he was the key last year. I think it's going to be very difficult for him, because it's always the key player. They always get singled out, and when you combat a couple of times when we were just looking at the shot, all the players were so compact through the centre. This only space was out wide, and they just had nowhere to move. And Schneider, like I said, came out on the left, didn't know where to go really. And when he did get the ball in midfield, he got snuffed out straight away, and that was the chance for Atletico to start their counter attack. But all credit to Atletico. I think it was brilliant. You could see the players; they really enjoyed that, and it starts a great season for them as well.
The use of Eto'o in this role, Foz, I'm not a big fan. I mean, he's a fantastic central striker, not in a target man sense, but his beautiful movement, his lateral running. Remember at Barcelona was fantastic, beautiful finisher. I think he's being wasted.
He wasn't wasted last year because, you've got to give credit to Mourinho. What he said afterwards was, we never should have won the Champions League. He said we weren't a Champions League winning team. We had to play a certain way, and Eto'o played a very specific role within it, as did Pandev, who's another striker. So he was very clever in the way that he engineered a style of play that could neutralise, what he said was the best team in the world, Barcelona. Okay, fine. Now things are changing, and it's going to be interesting to see how Benitez uses Eto'o. He's got a lot of challenges, because in the first half, the point I was making was not that they wanted to give Inter 60% of possession. No, it's just simply that they didn't want to go on and fully pressure Inter and totally control the game, because your defensive line is determined by your attacking one. If the attackers push on to pressure here, your defensive line has to be here, or obviously your compactness is gone, and Schneider's going to kill you in the middle. So at times when it was on, and this is where these teams are very smart, they would press, but then very quickly, as soon as they play through, they're back here. And the side camera often watching the team was, Zula and I sitting and say, look at that, it's just perfect there. Their defending in the back four was beautiful. The central midfield was very tight, not allowing Schneider any space. And once then when, and the outcome of that is that Inter have to be able to break someone down, not wait for them to lose and go in behind. And there was once and around the edge of the box where Schneider was trying to play his little balls, and Cambiasso tried to play a 1-2 and go through, which is not his game either. And there was 8 Atletico players in, it must have been a box of 20 by 20 sitting on the edge of the 18-yard box, right? You cannot play through, there's no way you're going to play through that. So again, that's very smart from the Atletico coach. I think he played it perfectly. And when they go forward then, they have the combinations, they have the ability individually. When you talk about Reyes, Simao, Forlan and Aguero, you're talking about 4 very, very good footballers. So for them, I think he's got one over on Benitez today, and I think all the questions about the Spaniard are going to be precisely this. How long is it going to take him to change them? But what we learnt this morning is that he will have to change their style.
Okay, let's take you back to Monaco and Martin Fisher, alongside him Michael Robinson.
There's one of the goal scorers, Kun Aguero.
And there's Simao, the captain.
And there's his opposite number, Zanetti, leading the applause. Not quite as vociferously as that lot behind the goal. Be a nice touch as well if they share the lifting of the trophy, Simao and Lopez.
Vicente Del Bosque, the national team manager of Spain, ex-player of Real Madrid, seeing how the neighbours lift the trophy, and they're making a habit of it now.
It seems as though just about everything these days in football goes the way of Spain. Champions League didn't last season, but the winners of the Europa League, Atletico Madrid, have beaten Inter Milan to become the latest Spanish club to lift this title. First time in their history. Smiles across those faces as they barge into each other. Room and space at a premium as we wait to see the trophy emerge from his hands, Michel Platini, the president of UEFA, into the grateful hands of Simao and Antonio Lopez. They're having to get used to this. 2 pieces of silverware in just 3 months. The Europa League winners, Atletico Madrid, are the Super Cup winners for 2010. And Monaco turns red, white and blue.
Yes, the ticker tape, the first of the season, celebrates Atletico Madrid, and so Spanish football still at its height, and there's lots to await us when the Champions League starts with the participation of Barcelona and Real Madrid, and they are the world champion